What is up? What is up? You're listening to Locked on NBA Draft. I'm your host, Rafael Barlow from NBADraftJunkies.com. I feel like I have an exciting episode for you today. I guess you can say this is the part 2 episode. It will be part 2 of my mailbox episode or mailbag episode. I don't know why I said mailbox, but my mailbag episode that I dropped, I want to say a couple weeks ago. And then in the second segment and third segment, it will be my mock lottery 2.0. The NBA just released the tie-breaking scenarios. I believe there were 6 teams that had identical records. We're still a few weeks away from the actual ping pong balls of the lottery, but I'm looking forward to it. And I'm still going to give you my mock lottery 2.0. The first time I did it, I just did a random simulator on tankathon.com. This time I just go by the records based off of the standings, so stay tuned for that. But let's get into my mailbag 2.0. Had a lot of interesting questions, and for whatever reasons, there were a lot of comparisons. Some of these questions I got off my YouTube channel, so I'll get right into them right now. The first question is, can Scottie Barnes crack the top 5? To be honest with you, I do not believe he'll crack the top 5 unless it's a situation where a team feels like he is the best fit and there's a lot of redundancy with the players or young players that they already have on the roster or have drafted in recent years, which I think there's going to be a lot of redundancy. There's not a lot of bigs in this draft, so you're going to see a lot of wings, and we're going to run into a situation where there's going to be teams that have multiple wings or multiple guys on the rookie contracts that they drafted and that they're still developing. So I think it's a slim chance that he'll be selected in the top 5, but more than likely I see him going 6 or 7, maybe 7 at the lowest. Very unique prospect, high defensive upside, has a unique skill set because he's more so like a point forward, but I think that he'll need to add some offense to maximize his potential. But he's young, like I said, a unique skill set, very high upside as a defender, and you may be shocked at where I have him going. So again, stay tuned for that. The next question is, would you take Sharife Cooper over Davion Mitchell? Cooper gets to the line more, has a better free throw percentage, is an elite passer, and he has good shooting indicators. Another good question. As of today, no. I think Davion Mitchell will go ahead of Sharife Cooper. If I were selected in the NBA draft, I'm going to take Davion Mitchell. I don't think Davion Mitchell was a lottery pick at this time last year, or maybe even a first-round pick at this time last year, even though a lot of people consider the 2020 NBA draft a weak draft. He had a very strong senior year, which was highlighted by Baylor winning the national championship, and he addressed a lot of concerns about his shooting. There's still some concerns about his free throw percentage and the fact that he doesn't get to the line, especially with his athleticism and speed. As far as Sharife Cooper, he's going to have a lot of knocks on him because of his size, his lack of size, I should say, and his lack of shooting. Even though, like the question said, he has good shooting indicators, but he has a long way to go, in my opinion, as far as like speeding up his shot and being able to shoot the ball. I mean, he was not a very good shooter from beyond the arc this year. But to answer your question, I know that was kind of a long-winded answer. No, I would not take Sharife Cooper over Davion Mitchell. All right, Alperen Sengun, his video was doing numbers on my YouTube page. Last I looked, it was over like 15,000 views. So there has been a lot of questions about him. Probably a lot of them coming from Turkey. Shout out to Turkey. I lived in Istanbul for 10 months. The best 10-month period of my life. I really enjoyed Turkey. My time in Turkey played a major role in my love for the international prospects. It was one of the main reasons, if not the main reason, why I decided to somewhat kind of have a niche for knowing the international prospects and drafts. So again, shout out to Turkey. And the question is Alperen Sengun the best player in Europe? I'd say you can make a strong case and say out of all the players in Europe, he has the highest upside. Is he the best right now as far as being able to come in and contribute to an NBA team as of today? The answer is no. But Europe is tricky. You have Alexis Pokashevsky, who did not play for Olympiacos, was on their B team, and then he comes to the NBA. He's a starter. And even though it was on a team that was clearly tanking, and I don't think I shouldn't say I don't think. I know he wouldn't have the same role on a team that was winning, but he showed some flashes and upside. And again, he wasn't the best player on Olympiacos. He was the best long-term prospect, but he was able to get major minutes in the NBA. So to answer your question, no, I don't think he's the best player in Europe as far as being able to come in and contribute right away. But as far as him being the best long-term prospect, to me, it's between him and Usman Garuba. So that's a question that, depending on the day, some days I may favor in Sengün, some days I may favor in Garuba. I guess I have about 60 days until draft day to be certain on which prospect that I think is better. So I don't have a definite answer for that question. But like I said, I do think that there are other players in Europe that I feel like would be better NBA prospects as far as being able to come in and contribute right away. All right, the next question is BJ Boston the next Kevin Knox? I think that's an unfair comparison. I feel like the only reason why they're being compared is because they both went to Kentucky and played for John Calipari. I think the difference is that Knox was a lottery pick going to New York, which is a tough situation. I mean, New York fans are, man, you can make a case and say they're the best fans in the NBA. They're the most passionate. I mean, if you look at the playoffs and just the excitement in the Garden, and that's a lot of pressure for a teenager going into his rookie year. He just hasn't been able to live up to expectations. Maybe it's his fit, maybe the pressure of playing in New York is tough. And the reason I think it's a totally different scenario is because BJ Boston is not expected to go into the lottery. He would not be drafted as high as Knox. And by him being, maybe at best a first round pick, maybe second round pick, he won't have as much pressure. And I think that he'll probably be in a better situation to succeed from the aspect of not as much pressure and expectations. But no, I don't think he's the next Kevin Knox because, like I said, the situations are going to be totally different. How do you like Vrenz Blindberg in Milwaukee with Giannis? Now, if you've been listening to my podcast or my YouTube channel, you know I'm a big Vrenz Blindberg fan. I've had him on the podcast twice. Hope to have him on again as we get closer to draft time. He's a 6'10" skilled point forward. I think that would be a pretty cool fit. There's some redundancy there. I mean, obviously, Giannis is a world-class athlete. But if Vrenz can knock down open shots, I mean, that would give Milwaukee a lot of length and a lot of playmaking and versatility. So I think that would be an excellent fit. An excellent fit to see Vrenz go to the Milwaukee Bucks. But the problem is, Milwaukee doesn't have a first-round pick. And I think Vrenz is a first-round pick. So if he falls to the second round where Milwaukee has the 31st pick, then yeah, I can definitely see it happening and being a good pick. So that's a good question.